Hey everybody, good to see you back. This is going to be a hopefully not too long video response to all the comments that were left in my prior video that I made about the possible engine block replacement for 5J1113. As you know, this block is broken up pretty badly. I'm not going to bother fixing it. I'm just going to replace it, and I'm hoping that that other 3J block is going to be good. I have not got inside of it yet. I need to get this out of the shop first so I can make some room to start tearing that down and give it a good evaluation. But I got so many comments with people giving their opinions on what to do serial number tag wise with that it would just take me forever to sit and type out responses for everyone. So I'm going to just try and do like a video that just kind of covers as a general response to all the comments that I got. And I do want to thank everybody that responded. Doesn't matter what your opinion is, which way you'd go with it. It was really interesting to read, and I read through every single one of them, and I really appreciate everybody giving their opinions. And nobody got mad at anybody, and we kept it pretty civil, and that's kind of a rare thing to see in the comment section on YouTube anymore. So good job, everybody. So let's just jump right into it. Okay, we got Blind Bat G34. It's your stuff, do what you want. If you sell the D2, disclose the fact that the block is a period correct replacement. It's already going to be documented on YouTube, so it's hard to accuse you of trying to be deceptive. And I'm really not trying to be deceptive. If I was, I never would have put it on YouTube. That's just kind of the way I am with this right now. Is that's kind of what you have to do to shop for parts on a lot of these things, since obviously you're not going to go down to the cat dealer and just pick up a absolutely correct replacement block for a cat D2. For me, it's just kind of part of the parts acquisition process. I realize serial numbers are there for a reason, and they're very important, but in this day and age, it's just kind of something you have to do to keep these old obsolete machines running. So for me, a parts pile, a lineup of parts machines, that's just kind of my store, really. You know, I'm not trying to be deceptive or pull the wool over anyone's eyes, but that's where you go to get a good replacement piece that happens to be correct. And 00 Nut. I'm with Robert. Get the block swap, change the tags since they're 6 days apart. When you have a heart transplant, you don't change your name, so let it roll. And honestly, 00 Nut, that's probably my favorite comment on here, because that sounds just like something I'd say. You have a heart transplant, you don't change your name. You know, it's like in one of my spirited discussions with coworkers. So, I mean, you know, yeah, I agree. It was funny. I got a chuckle out of it. Thanks for leaving that. Next up, we got Homie789. It is deceptive to a cat enthusiast. Anyone who knows and wants a numbers matching, they look at the tag and the diff and the tranny tag. They all match, but they are not the same. You would be better off, in my opinion, to keep it as is and make a small plaque with the other engine tag on it. Bolt it close so people will not be confused. It's your machine and your call, but that is what I would do as a period correct piece. It is not the same as numbers matching. Homie789, you are correct. I cannot disagree with you on that in the purest sense. It can only be numbers matching once, and I cannot do that. Not with this block. It's not going to be a numbers matching machine ever again. What I am going for, though, is correctness and having the proper components on it, so that no one would be able to look at it and say that is clearly a late 5J block, or even worse yet, repower it with like a 5U block, you know, that's much later and not even correct at all, but try and pass it off with a J series tag. That would just not be right at all. But can't argue with that. You have a very valid point. Okay, next up is longtime viewer Reg Sparks. He's been watching my channel since before anybody did. So I agree that this would seem to be the correct way to restore 5J1113. You have already documented your intent here, so when this is all finished up and on display, this information will be available to any and all who would wonder about this restoration process. Another thought question, why not have the two tags on the block to show the transplant of the newer block? If this cat were ever to be sold and I bought it, I wouldn't mind at all to have this done, just as long as the information is available to me. Thanks for the comment, Reg, and I'm pretty much on the same page as you, and what you said kind of mirrors what Homie789 kind of alluded to as well, that it would have to be disclosed to any potential buyer should I ever sell the machine, which I've never sold a tractor yet. I can't quite make myself do it, but if I ever did, I would want to be extra sure that the buyer did indeed know that that block is not original to the machine, although very correct. And I kind of like what you guys are getting at with making sure that the 3J serial number tag is displayed also on this machine. I was at a show one time, and there's a guy with a very nicely fixed up John Deere. I believe it was an A. I don't know, those green things all look the same to me, but sorry guys. He had a plaque out in front of his tractor that had something on it to the effect of these other tractors sacrifice parts so that this one may live on, and he had like 3 or 4 serial number tags of other A's or whatever the model was on there. And I looked at it at the time and I was like, yeah, well, that's kind of neat. I never thought I'd ever do it, but the more you guys, the more comments like that I've read from you guys, the more it would really kind of make sense and just kind of prove that I'm not trying to deceive anyone. And it's kind of a neat way to make sure those serial numbers live on in some small way, because it would be one old machine helping another one to potentially live again. We may be putting the cart ahead of the horse here, because I don't know that other 3J block is even good, but I'm really thinking about making up some kind of like a little plaque or tag or something that could be affixed in a prominent place on this D2, like the side of the seat, somewhere like that. It wouldn't be hidden like behind a seat cushion or anything. It would be in a spot where anyone walking around and looking at the machine could see it, and it may be something that will spark some conversation and just kind of further help get the word out and kind of tell the story of old 1113, just and another way to ensure that any potential buyer isn't going to have the wool pulled over his or her eyes. And I want to look at one final comment. This one's from Diesel Doc. Replace the block with one from the 3J. In my mind, no different than changing a clutch or a bad track pad. The only question, what will become of the rest of the 3J D2? Was it destined to be a parts tractor anyway? I say fix the 5J. You got us hooked watching the ongoing saga, and I, for one, would love to see it running again. Sort of a grave to cradle, born again experience. Great channel. I look forward to every new post. Diesel Doc, thanks. Trust me, I really want to see old 1113 run again too. Hopefully I can make that happen. I would sure love it. As far as the old 3J, the story on that was it's pretty much been a parts machine since before I even had it. I got that along with the first 5J D2 I ever bought. That was back in like 1999, and it came in pieces with that machine. Engine was pretty much as you see it in the other video. It's out there sitting in the snowbank right now, waiting to come in here and get tore down. Tracks, undercarriage, all that stuff, track frames, rollers, idlers, sprockets, chains, all that stuff was already gone by the time I got it. Transmission had the gears in yet, but the bevel gear shaft, the cross shaft, bevel gear, steering clutches, all that stuff was gone. The final drives were pretty much shelled out on it. One was completely shot. The other one had a few good pieces that I sold to another collector in North Carolina a few years ago. So I really only had maybe 60% of that machine anyway from the start. Really none of the tin was with it. Sheet metal, fenders, tank, hood, all that stuff was all gone. So 3J 2119 is basically, it's just a pile of parts. For me, it's just if I can get anything useful out of it, that's what I'm going to do. It's nothing that I could ever, well, I probably could rebuild if I brought in enough other parts, which would probably put us right back to the same situation that we have with this, kind of scandalous. But basically it's just a parts machine. Nothing that I was really ever going to do anything with, and I don't have any narrow D2 stuff anyway. All my stuff is wide. So as far as I'm concerned, like I said, 3J, that's part of the parts store. So anyway, guys, I'll try and wrap the video up here. Again, I appreciate all you guys for watching, for commenting. And again, thank you for all your comments. I read every single one of them, and it gave me a lot of food for thought. But I've made my decision. I'm going to pull the 5J tag off this block, and if I can make that correct 3J one work, that 5J tag is going on it. But I am going to keep that 3J serial tag, and it's going to go somewhere on the machine. And I have 2 other J series D2s here that may also be lending parts to this machine. So depending on what I have to pull from them to make this a really good stand-up unit, it might have up to 3 additional J series tags on it, all displayed in the same spot, just to really let everybody know that I'm not trying to pull the wool over anybody's eyes, but that's just what it takes to get parts for these things anymore. And to expand this just a little bit further, it's not going to bother me putting that 5J tag on a block that is absolutely right, proper, and correct. For me, it's just the last little detail that rounds out, a good rebuild. I mean, the block, at the end of the day, for me, is a piece of cast iron. It has to be replaced to make the internals live on. I really don't consider it to be shady or breaking any rules, as long as everybody knows what the story is, knows that is not, in fact, the original block that came with that tractor, but it is the right one. So having that 5J tag on there is just a must for me if I can make that other 3J block work. But we'll leave you with one parting shot of old 1113. You can see I have all the sleeves pulled out. I was able to turn that disc out, made a nice adapter for my sleeve puller. That's kind of a Rube Goldberg affair, but it works. Got all 4 of those liners pulled out with ease. So got another special service tool to add to the collection. And we all know how heaved out that other side was over there. If I can manipulate the light just right here. Okay, finally got the light right. Sorry guys, I know it's horrible in here. That vertical line you see right there, that is a gigantic crack, which just shows you how far out this sidewall is heaved away from that interior block gusset. And there's a corresponding crack on this one right here as well. And of course, you can see, if you especially look inside this front cavity, there are cracks and lines that go all over in there. When you put the light out here, you can actually see light shines in. It's that bad. So I'm not going to replace this, or I'm not going to repair this block. I'm just going to replace it. There'd be so many repairs that have to be done inside as well as out that I just don't think it'd be worth it. Not when I could maybe find a replacement block that would fit, would work, and would be correct. So that's what I'm going to do. Guys, as always, I thank you for watching. And thanks again for all your comments. Like I say, I read them all. Gave me a lot of food for thought. And everybody pretty much made valid points. I really appreciate it. So guys, tune in again. We've been accumulating some more parts for old 1113 here. I'll be showing you some of that in a little bit. In the meantime, take it easy. Hope to see you back again.